Event report: SpaceX launches 2 private lunar landers, Blue Ghost and Resilience. Date of event: January 15, 2025. Time of launch: 1:11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Location: Kennedy Space Center, Florida. Overview. On January 15, 2025, SpaceX successfully launched 2 private lunar landers, Firefly Aerospace's Blue Ghost and Japan-based Space Resilience, marking a significant milestone in the growing commercial space exploration sector. This launch is part of the broader trend of private companies taking active roles in lunar exploration, especially under NASA's Commercial Lunar Payload Services (CLPS) program. Launch details. The Falcon 9 rocket lifted off from NASA's Kennedy Space Center at precisely 1:11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time under a clear sky and a full moon. This launch was not only a technical achievement but also a symbolic step for international collaboration in space exploration. 1. Rocket and payload deployment. The Falcon 9's first stage successfully returned to Earth. Landing on SpaceX's drone ship, just read the instructions, in the Atlantic Ocean approximately 8.5 minutes post-launch. The second stage of the rocket continued its ascent, deploying Blue Ghost into a lunar transfer orbit about 65 minutes after launch, followed by Resilience 27 minutes later. Mission profiles. Blue Ghost, Firefly Aerospace. Mission name: Ghost Riders in the Sky. First lunar mission. This mission represents Firefly Aerospace's inaugural lunar venture. Payload: Blue Ghost carries 10 scientific experiments provided by NASA focusing on lunar environmental studies and technology validation for future missions. Mission timeline. Remaining in Earth orbit for approximately 25 days for system checks and preliminary operations of its scientific instruments. After a 4-day journey to the Moon, it is scheduled to land in Mare Crisium Sea of Crises in early March 2025. The lander will operate for about 2 weeks on the lunar surface, conducting experiments until lunar night conditions force it to power down. Resilience Ispace. Mission details. This is Ispace's second attempt to reach the Moon following the unsuccessful landing of its first lander in 2023. Payload: Resilience is equipped with a microrover named Tenacious, designed to collect lunar regolith samples and test potential food and water sources for future lunar explorers. Mission timeline. The lander will take a longer, energy-efficient route to the Moon, expected to arrive in about 4 to 5 months. It aims to land in Mare Frigoris Sea of Cold around late May or early June 2025. Objectives and goals. Both lunar landers aim to gather crucial data and validate technologies that will aid future lunar exploration, including NASA's Artemis program, which seeks to return astronauts to the Moon by the end of the decade. Blue Ghost's objectives: conduct scientific experiments related to lunar regolith and surface conditions, test technology for future missions, including a device to help astronauts manage lunar dust. Resilience's objectives: deploy the Tenacious rover for regolith sampling, explore potential resources for sustaining human presence on the Moon. Significance of the launch. This launch highlights the increasing involvement of private companies in space exploration. It reflects a shift toward commercial partnerships and scientific research driven by initiatives like NASA's CLPS program. As these missions progress, they are expected to pave the way for more advanced exploration efforts, including sustained human presence on the Moon. Conclusion. The successful launch of Blue Ghost and Resilience not only marks a critical point in lunar exploration but also showcases the potential of public-private partnerships in advancing space science and technology. As these landers embark on their respective missions, the space community watches closely, anticipating the insights and discoveries that may emerge from these pioneering efforts on the lunar surface. The recent launch of 2 private lunar landers, SpaceX's Blue Ghost and Space Resilience, has unveiled several counterintuitive elements that challenge common perceptions about commercial space exploration and lunar missions. 1. Collaborative efforts in competition. While traditional views suggest a competitive race in space exploration, the cooperation between Firefly Aerospace and ispace shows a different reality. They both share the same launch vehicle to save costs and facilitate each other's missions, pushing the narrative that collaboration can exist even in competitive industries. This contrasts with the expectation that private companies would fiercely compete against one another without any shared interests. 2. Longer routes for efficiency. Resilience is taking a longer, more energy-efficient route to the moon. This strategy seems counterintuitive, since one might assume that a direct path would be preferable in space missions. However, this approach reflects an understanding of resource management and operational efficiency, emphasizing that the fastest route is not always the most sustainable or cost-effective in space exploration. 3. NASA's role in commercial ventures. The involvement of NASA in funding and supporting these private missions challenges the perception that government agencies are solely responsible for space exploration. NASA's investment in the Blue Ghost mission and its role in the commercial Lunar Payload Services (CLPS) program underscore a shift towards a partnership model where private firms take the lead while benefiting from government support. This approach is revolutionary, as it suggests that the future of space exploration may increasingly rely on private initiatives rather than government-led programs. For short-lived lunar operations, Blue Ghost is designed to operate for only about 2 weeks on the lunar surface, which might seem inadequate for a mission of such significance. The limited operational time contradicts expectations that lunar missions would entail long-term research. This brevity highlights the challenges of maintaining equipment and conducting experiments in the harsh lunar environment, suggesting that even advanced technology has limitations when faced with real-world conditions. 5. Cultural elements in scientific missions. The inclusion of a toy-sized model house moonhouse by ispace reflects a blending of art and science that is not typically associated with space missions. This element indicates that lunar exploration is not only about scientific discovery but also about cultural expression, challenging the notion that scientific missions must be purely utilitarian. It suggests that fostering public interest and engagement in space missions can be as important as the scientific outcomes themselves. 6. Reliance on past failures for future success. ispace's previous failed landing attempt with its Hakuto lander has not deterred its current mission, rather it has seemingly informed the design and strategy for resilience. This resilience in the face of failure contradicts the expectation that past failures would lead to a withdrawal from future endeavors. Instead, it emphasizes the learning process inherent in space exploration, where failures are seen as stepping stones to success. 7. Focus on lunar dust. The attention given to lunar regolith and its properties in both missions may seem trivial compared to grander goals like human colonization or resource extraction. However, this focus highlights a fundamental understanding of the Moon's environment that is crucial for future missions. It contradicts the assumption that initial lunar missions should prioritize bold human endeavors over foundational research. 8. Public and private funding dynamics. The financial aspects of these missions reveal a complex interplay between public and private funding. NASA's significant financial investment in Firefly Aerospace's mission, juxtaposed against ispace's reluctance to disclose its mission costs, suggests an evolving landscape where financial transparency may not be uniform across private companies. This variance challenges the notion that all private space ventures operate under the same financial models and highlights the diversity of funding strategies within the industry. These elements illustrate how the launch of Blue Ghost and Resilience not only marks a significant step in lunar exploration but also reshapes conventional wisdom about private space missions' collaborative efforts and the nature of exploration itself. In the recent report detailing SpaceX's launch of the 2 private lunar landers, Firefly Aerospace's Blue Ghost and ispace Resilience, several important aspects may easily be overlooked, yet they hold significant implications for the future of lunar exploration and commercial space initiatives. 1. NASA's Commercial Lunar Payload Services (CLPS) program. While many people may focus on the launch success itself, the underlying significance of the NASA CLPS program is critical. This initiative represents a paradigm shift in how lunar exploration is conducted. By outsourcing payload delivery and scientific experiments to private companies, NASA is fostering a competitive environment that encourages innovation and reduces costs associated with lunar missions. This approach not only democratizes space exploration but also enables a variety of experiments and technologies that might not have been feasible under traditional government contracts. Significance: the CLPS program is pivotal in establishing a sustainable lunar economy. As private companies gain experience and technology through these missions, they can contribute to longer-term goals such as lunar bases resource extraction and the eventual colonization of the Moon. This is foundational for the Artemis program, which aims to return humans to the lunar surface by the end of the decade. 2. Diverse mission objectives. Both lunar landers have distinct scientific objectives that reflect the growing complexity and ambition of private lunar missions. Blue Ghost carries 10 NASA experiments, including innovative technologies for analyzing lunar regolith and environmental conditions. Meanwhile, Resilience is equipped with a microrover named Tenacious, designed to collect soil samples and test potential resources for future human exploration. Significance: the focus on diverse scientific objectives indicates a shift towards a more multifaceted understanding of the Moon. Each mission adds to a cumulative knowledge base that will inform future exploration efforts. For instance, understanding the lunar environment's potential for supporting human life, food, and water sources is crucial for long-term missions and sustainability. 3. Different mission durations and strategies. Blue Ghost is designed for a rapid mission timeline, spending 25 days in Earth orbit before a relatively quick transit to the Moon, while Resilience will take a more energy-efficient route, stretching its journey to 4 to 5 months. This contrast highlights differing strategies in mission planning and execution, which could inform future missions designs. Significance: the choice of mission profiles reflects the diverse capabilities and strategies of private space companies. Companies can tailor mission profiles according to their technological strengths and resource availability. This flexibility can lead to optimized mission designs that enhance the efficiency of lunar exploration. 4. Cultural and artistic elements. The inclusion of a model house by Swedish artist Michael Genberg on Resilience as part of its payload is an intriguing cultural element that might be dismissed as trivial. This artistic piece symbolizes humanity's creativity and cultural expression, extending beyond mere scientific inquiry. Significance: this integration of art and culture into space missions serves as a reminder that exploration is not solely about scientific ambitions, it is also a human endeavor encompassing creativity and expression. It can inspire public interest and emotional connection to space exploration, which is vital for ongoing support and investment in such initiatives. 5. Importance of international collaboration. The collaboration between U.S. and Japanese companies in this mission underscores the increasing importance of international partnerships in space exploration. As companies like ispace and Firefly Aerospace work together under the umbrella of NASA's programs, the potential for global collaboration in future missions becomes evident. Significance: international partnerships can lead to pooled resources, shared knowledge, and a more unified approach to addressing the challenges of space exploration. This cooperation is essential as humanity moves towards establishing a permanent presence on the Moon and potentially beyond, making space exploration a collective effort rather than a race among nations. 6. Technological innovations and preparations for Artemis. The payloads carried by both landers, particularly those on Blue Ghost, include technologies that will help prepare for NASA's Artemis missions. These experiments focus on understanding lunar regolith and environmental conditions, which are vital for future lunar habitats and operations. Significance: the success or failure of these experiments could directly impact the feasibility of human missions to the Moon. If these technologies function as intended, they can provide critical data that will refine future mission designs and enhance safety and efficiency for astronauts. 7. Risk and uncertainty in lunar missions. The report mentions the crash of a space previous lander Hakutoar during its landing attempt. This highlights the inherent risks involved in lunar exploration even for experienced companies. Significance: acknowledging the risks associated with lunar missions is crucial for realistic expectations in space exploration. Learning from failures is part of the innovation process, and the data gathered from unsuccessful attempts can inform future designs and operational strategies. Conclusion: while the successful launch of Blue Ghost and Resilience marks a significant milestone in lunar exploration, the deeper implications of this event, ranging from the commercialization of space to international cooperation and the integration of cultural elements, are essential to understanding the future landscape of space exploration. These overlooked aspects signify a transformative period where scientific inquiry, technological advancement, and human creativity converge in the quest for knowledge beyond our planet. 1. Commercial lunar exploration as a new frontier. The launch of SpaceX's Falcon 9 rocket carrying two private lunar landers, Firefly Aerospace's Blue Ghost and ispace Resilience, marks a significant milestone in the commercialization of lunar exploration. This event underscores the growing role of private companies in space missions, particularly in the context of NASA's Commercial Lunar Payload Services (CLPS) program. These missions are not only about technological advancements but also about establishing a sustainable business model for lunar exploration, which could pave the way for future commercial endeavors on the Moon and beyond. 2. Diverse mission objectives and technological innovations. The missions of Blue Ghost and Resilience highlight the diverse scientific and technological objectives that lunar landers can pursue. Blue Ghost is designed primarily for scientific research, carrying 10 NASA payloads aimed at studying lunar regolith and environmental conditions. In contrast, Resilience focuses on practical applications for future lunar habitation, including a microrover for soil sampling and testing potential food and water sources. This contrast illustrates how different missions can contribute to a broader understanding of the Moon and support future human exploration. 3. Challenges and risks of lunar landings. The complexities and risks associated with lunar landings are evident in both missions. For instance, ispace Resilience is taking a longer, more energy-efficient route to the Moon, but this approach also introduces additional uncertainties. The previous failure of ispace Hakutoar lander emphasizes the technical difficulties of landing on the lunar surface. Both companies acknowledge the challenges posed by the Moon's environment, including its rough terrain and the legacy of past mission failures. Understanding these risks is crucial for planning future missions and ensuring their success. 4. Future of lunar missions and international cooperation. The successful launch of these landers signals the beginning of a new era of lunar exploration, with multiple missions planned for the coming years. This includes upcoming missions from other private companies like Intuitive Machines and Astrobotic, illustrating a collaborative landscape for lunar exploration. The international aspect of these missions, particularly with Japan's involvement through ispace, highlights the potential for global cooperation in space exploration. Such collaborations may enhance scientific knowledge, share costs, and foster international partnerships, which are essential for the sustainability of long-term lunar exploration efforts. 1. Apollo 11 Mission 1969. The Apollo 11 mission is perhaps the most famous lunar landing in history, marking the first time humans set foot on the Moon. Launched on July 16, 1969. The mission successfully landed astronauts Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin on the lunar surface on July 20, 1969, while Michael Collins remained in lunar orbit aboard the command module. Armstrong's famous words, "That's one small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind," symbolized a monumental achievement in space exploration and human resilience. The mission paved the way for future lunar explorations, including the Artemis program, which aims to return humans to the Moon. 2. Lunar module development and testing 1960s. The development of the lunar module LM by NASA during the 1960s involved overcoming significant engineering challenges. The LM was designed to land on the Moon and return astronauts safely to the command module in lunar orbit. This required innovative designs to handle the Moon's harsh environment, including its lack of atmosphere and extreme temperatures. The successful testing of the lunar module, including the Apollo 9 mission in 1969, showcased the resilience of the engineering teams and their ability to solve complex problems under pressure, ultimately leading to the historic Apollo 11 landing. 3. Chandrayaan-2 mission 2019. India's Chandrayaan-2 mission, launched on July 22, 2019, aimed to explore the lunar South Pole. The mission consisted of an orbiter lander Vikram and rover Pragyan. While the orbiter successfully entered lunar orbit and continues to send valuable data, the lander experienced a hard landing on September 6, 2019, failing to complete its descent. Despite this setback, the mission demonstrated India's growing capabilities in space exploration and resilience in the face of challenges. The lessons learned from Chandrayaan-2 are expected to contribute to future missions, including the planned Chandrayaan-3, showcasing the spirit of perseverance in space exploration. The successful launch of Firefly Aerospace's Blue Ghost and ispace resilience lunar landers by SpaceX on January 15, 2025, marks a significant milestone in the commercialization of lunar exploration. This event not only highlights the growing role of private companies in space but also sets the stage for numerous advancements and challenges in the coming years. Predictions for the future. 1. Increased lunar activity. The launch of these two landers signals the beginning of a busy year for lunar missions, with multiple private companies and governmental agencies planning expeditions. As seen with intuitive machines and other upcoming missions, the Moon will become a focal point for scientific research and commercial endeavors. By 2030, we can expect a significant increase in the frequency of lunar missions, potentially leading to a new lunar gold rush. 2. Advancements in technology. With Blue Ghost and Resilience equipped with advanced scientific instruments, we can anticipate breakthroughs in lunar science. The data collected from the 10 NASA experiments aboard Blue Ghost, focusing on lunar regolith and surface conditions, will enhance our understanding of the Moon's environment and inform future human and robotic missions. Similarly, Resilience's microrover Tenacious aims to gather samples that could reveal vital information about lunar resources, paving the way for sustainable lunar habitation. 3. International cooperation and competition. The collaboration between American and Japanese companies exemplifies a growing trend of international partnerships in space exploration. Future lunar missions may involve joint ventures between nations, leading to shared technology and resources. However, as more nations and private entities enter the lunar arena, competition may also intensify, particularly regarding resource extraction and scientific research. 4. Commercialization of lunar resources. The focus on lunar resources, particularly water, ice, and minerals, will likely accelerate. Companies like ispace are already exploring the potential for extracting these resources for in situ resource utilization, ISRU, critical for sustaining long-term human presence on the Moon. By 2035, we may witness the establishment of commercial operations focused on mining and processing lunar materials, which could be transported back to Earth or used to support missions to Mars. 5. Preparation for human exploration. NASA's Artemis program aims to return humans to the Moon by the end of the decade, and ongoing robotic missions will play a crucial role in preparation. The data collected from Blue Ghost and Resilience will help NASA identify safe landing sites, understand the lunar environment, and develop technologies necessary for human survival. By 2030, we can expect the groundwork laid by these missions to facilitate human landings and possibly the establishment of a lunar base. 6. Educational and cultural impact. The inclusion of cultural elements such as a space moonhouse underscores the significance of lunar missions beyond science and technology. as the moon becomes a canvas for artistic expression and educational outreach. We can expect a growing public interest in space exploration. By 2035, lunar missions may inspire a new generation of scientists, engineers, and artists, fostering a culture of innovation and curiosity about our place in the universe. 7. Sustainability concerns. As lunar exploration expands, so will the discussions around sustainability and environmental impact. The potential for contamination of lunar sites and the preservation of scientific integrity will be critical topics. By 2035, regulations and best practices for lunar exploration could emerge, emphasizing the need for responsible exploration that prioritizes both scientific goals and environmental stewardship. 8. Broader implications for space exploration. The advancements in lunar missions will have ripple effects on broader space exploration initiatives, including Mars missions. The technologies and knowledge gained from lunar exploration will inform the design and execution of missions to Mars and beyond. By 2040, we may see a more robust human presence on Mars, built on the foundations established by lunar exploration. Conclusion. The launch of Blue Ghost and Resilience is just the beginning of a new era in lunar exploration, characterized by increased activity, technological advancements, and international collaboration. As we look toward the future, the implications of these missions will extend far beyond the moon, shaping the landscape of space exploration for generations to come.